In our last video, we took a look at the summary of Footloose, what the left hand was doing and chords that were happening in the right hand. In today's lesson, we're going to take a quick look at Burton Cummings' My Own Way to Rock, which is a piano boogie with a lot of triplets. There's triplets everywhere, and the left hand is very bouncy and active. So triplets are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so the main motif of the song is, so slow it down, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That drives the entire song pretty much, but what we want to do is we want to do that with one hand. So I like to treat the left hand like it's a drum kit. So if you kind of treat the lower octave as your kick drum and the upper octave as a snare drum, or maybe a ghost note, doesn't always apply. But if you don't have a drummer or a drum machine, you can have a really strong foundation in your left hand that drives the entire song. So the left hand goes, and the right hand is doing what feels like horn shots. I think when he wrote this, he was probably thinking it'd be cool if horns did this, but that's what the right hand sounds like. It's so the chords are one chord in the key of C, second inversion, so that's the root. This is the first inversion. And then we walk down to the flat 7 chord, which is B flat. And then we do an F second inversion. And then back to C root. And then the C kind of is I guess the icing on the cake for the riff. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then we add the left hand again, we'll go slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now what's cool about this riff is this is a really good boogie riff, and if you want to, it would be good to practice this in all 12 keys. So practicing it in all 12 keys would sound like this. So that's all 12 keys, that riff. And the reason we practice that in all 12 keys is you really don't master something unless you can play it in any key. And so it's a good idea to take any riffs, any chord progressions you have, and be able to transpose them instantly to any other key. So if you wanted to play My Own Way to Rock in the key of F, you would go. Or if you want to play an A flat, it'd be. And it's a good exercise as musicians to practice things in different keys, just in case you're playing with a group of people and they need it transposed instantly and you're not terrified or there's no transpose button on your grand piano. So anyways, that is a good overview of the My Own Way to Rock, the main progression. So I want to move forward now to the second part of the tutorial, which is the verse. So before I do that, I want to just drum on my legs what the rhythm of this song sounds like. So the octave in the left hand is like this. So that's the main part. And now we're going to move to the second part, where we're going to do a walking bass in the left, and then we're going to alternate to the octave jumping. So you can do a number of things in the right hand with this. You can keep doing that rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, or you could substitute a seventh, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or you can make it a ninth with the D, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So the chord progression in the verse is C, F, C, F, C, back to G. It's kind of like a boogie blues. So I'm going to play a left hand pattern for what the verse does, and I'll play the melody with the right hand. So it's it wasn't quite perfect, but that's the melody in the right hand, and then the left hand is walking around. So walking bass lines are just as important as the octave jumping. And I want to talk about how we get from one key to another and make it interesting. So there's lots of ways to walk a bass line. So that's kind of a plain 1, 3, 5, 6, 1. Some people do this a lot. I don't like that. I think it's kind of uninteresting and lazy. So I like to go up and down. So the key here is how do we get from one chord to the other and make it interesting? And there's lots of different ways to get there. So in your mind, you can think, well, if I'm doing C to F, I can play. That's one way to get there. Another way to get there is to walk down from that flat 7 in the chord progression. So that's another way. And a third way is, I'm not going to do this forever, but this would be a third way. So you kind of got some alternate motion there. And then from then on, you could just process the same patterns and concepts to different chords. So I'm going to do a demonstration of what I like to do in this song. You'll notice I did different patterns to get from different notes to different ones. There's all kinds of ways to do this. I'm going to add the right hand now. So we're going to start at the intro, and then we're going to do the whole first verse, and then there's another verse, and then the chorus kicks in. So this is what I play normally. There's a transition going from a verse to a second verse, or a verse to a chorus, or maybe one chord to another, I like to have what I call a transitional lick or a turnaround. So in this particular case, it would be so you'll see what I did there. I came around. Builds a little tension going from one chord to the same chord. Otherwise, it's just boring. It doesn't go anywhere. Another thing you could do is you could come down chromatically. So I'm going down a chromatic median to our third, and then I'm coming back chromatically, which I find very interesting. Or you could go. That's not maybe not as appropriate, but it's still interesting. Or you could make it more bluesy by doing. So the blues minor pentatonic scale is 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. And then we can also add the blue notes, which are the major third, the major 7. So you can actually add the F sharp as well. So major chords are, then when you add these 3 notes, those are the blue notes. So this is the note between the flat 3 and the major 3. This is the tritone, which creates tension between the 4 and the 5, and the flat 7 gives it that bluesy tone. So you have, so you get that flat 7 there. Practice this over and over again. It's a good exercise. And then when we do the F, I'll do it. The F, I like to go. There it is again. That the A coming back up. It's a sign that we're going somewhere. We're going from one chord to another. And I'm going to do a little riff to let you know that we're changing, instead of just. Not nearly as interesting. It works. So we're creating energy with this boogie pattern, and we want to make the left hand really strong, really foundational, and also interesting, and letting your audience know that I'm going somewhere with this. So I'm going to do another example of what I like to play. It might be a little different than the last time, so I'll do it a little bit more up to speed. So that's a little overview of what I like to play in My Own Way to Rock by Burton Cummings. I like to make the left hand really foundational. And I also like to think about what would happen if you didn't have a right hand. So if I sang that song without the right hand, it would sound like this. Revving up my engines, baby, like a 747, shiny, lanky, long and lean. Long and lean. Revving up my engines, baby, like a 747, shiny, lanky, long and lean. Long and lean. I'm gonna take my silver dollar, change it into quarters, shove them in the wrecking machine. You know what song that is, you don't have to wonder. All the trademark riffs are there, and the melody is there. And then when you add your right hand, it's like just a little icing on the cake. So it's revving up my engines, baby, like a 747, shiny, lanky, long and lean. like a 747, shining like long and lean, long and lean. I'm gonna take my silver dollar, change it into quarters, shove them in the record machine. So that's a little overview of my own way to rock, and then we can talk about soloing later. But that is the foundational left hand, the boogie pattern, the octave jumping, the walking bass, the transitions between chords, transitions between sections, verses coming around to verses with turnaround riffs, transitional riffs between chords. And then we also talked about the horn sort of voicings of the right hand. And then when you're playing the vocal part, you can actually play the chords a little quieter, so it leaves room for your voice to shine through. So instead of revving up my engines, baby, like a 747, see as my voice is fighting with the chords. So you turn your right hand down and you play lightly, so it's revving up my engines, baby, like a 747, shining like a long. And I'm going to get louder here. My piano has taken over the focus of what's happening, and I'm going back. Revving up my engines, baby, like a 747, shining like long and lean. Louder now. I'm gonna take my silver dollar, change it into quarters, and shove them in the record machine. So by adjusting the volume of your right hand, you can let your vocals soar above what you're playing, which to me makes your vocals sound better. Because if your vocals are fighting with the piano, that's not a good thing. As much as it's a piano gig, you want the vocals to shine through primarily, but you want the piano to be a strong foundation underneath. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. We'll be doing these regularly moving forward. So have a great day, everyone.